Hello and welcome once again to the chancel of Christ Church, the place in the church where we ordinarily would sing and say the services. My name is Dane. I'm the rector of Christ Church, and I'd like to do another little instructional video answering some questions that I've received from you all. I wish I'd thought up some sort of snappy name for what these videos are, but instructional video, which is rather clinical and not very interesting, is going to have to suffice for the time being. So a question I've had from a few people is about this particular piece of liturgical furniture. You may have noticed that's cropped up in the chancel since our celebration, or beginning with our celebration of Easter. And it's this large candle stand right here, with this very large candle on top of it. This is called a Paschal Candle and a Paschal Candle stand. As you can see, it has the year 2020 written on it here, inscribed in it, and it has a series of, actually these are wax, little wax nodules formed around nails with pieces of incense inside of the wax. So, what's with this huge candle that we trot out every Easter season? Well, if you watched the video of the Great Vigil of Easter, you would have seen when the Paschal Candle is introduced in the liturgical cycle of services. It's at the very beginning of the Great Vigil. The new fire is kindled. I kindled it actually right here this year, and lit the Paschal Candle from it. I did it so with some difficulty, as some of you all who watched that video will remember. It can be a little challenge sometimes to get the fire from the new fire up to the Paschal Candle. I've had lots of helpful suggestions about how to do that better in the future. So thanks a lot for those suggestions. You don't need to send me any more. But the Paschal Candle is, once it's lit, we chant and sing the light of Christ 3 times and go in procession from where we've kindled the flame to the Paschal Candle stand. Now, ordinarily at Christ Church, that begins outside with the kindling of a great big flame under our lich gate at the entrance to our churchyard, and we pass through the graves of all the faithful departed in a very powerful, meaningful, symbolic way into the chapel, where we hear the story of God's great redeeming work, and then back to the font, and then finally to the Paschal Candle stand here in the center of the chancel. But the Paschal Candle stand is brought out for a variety of services throughout the year. It burns all through Easter season. In fact, if you open the Book of Common Prayer to the liturgy for the Great Vigil of Easter, which is right here in the proper liturgies for special days, you will see an instruction on page 287 that the Paschal Candle burn at all services from Easter Day through the day of Pentecost. The word Paschal comes to us through the Greek from the Hebrew, Aramaic and Hebrew, from the Hebrew word Pesach, which is the Hebrew word for Passover. And it directly links our celebration of Easter and the resurrection of Christ and God's redemption of people through Christ's death and resurrection with God's redemption of his chosen people from bondage in the land of Egypt, leading them out through the plagues inflicted on Egypt and finally through his deeds at the Red Sea. So we link these two important events. We see in the first Passover the promise of an even greater redemption, or worldwide redemption, that is brought to bear in the death and resurrection of Christ. And this Paschal Candle is intended as one visible reminder to us of this particular season. Of course, we use the Paschal Candle not only in Easter season, but throughout the year at both baptisms, into which we ourselves are brought under the Red Sea, through the Red Sea, into the death and resurrection of Christ and the newness of the Christian life, and again at funerals. The Paschal Candle stands at the head of the casket or behind the urn as a symbol and a reminder of Christ's resurrection in that hour when we most especially claim and remember that for ourselves as we enter into death and hope, look with hope to the joy of resurrection. So that's a little explanation for you on the Paschal Candle. There is a new one every year, although the numbers on there are just stickers. Don't tell anybody that I revealed that to you. And we can switch them out if need be. But traditionally we consecrate, inaugurate a new Paschal candle every year. We light it at the Easter Vigil, and then it burns till the next Easter throughout the Easter season, and then at every baptism and funeral, as a reminder to us of the light of Christ, the resurrection of Jesus, which is our hope. So thank you so much for the question about the Paschal candle. If there's anything else you notice behind me, in the chancel here, again, that's the space where we sing or say the services. I've talked about that in other videos, and I think I've said it twice now in this one, so I'm repeating myself a lot. Send me more questions so I don't have to repeat myself, and I can try to answer other queries that you may have, or other things that you've always wondered about. It doesn't have to be related to the liturgical furniture or the vestments. It could be theological questions that are on your mind or heart in this time of solitude, when maybe you have a little more occasion to reflect on those things. I don't in my house, because I have lots of kids running around, but some people may, and I'd be happy to try to address those questions. Thank you so much. God bless you. Take care, and I look forward, I hope, to seeing you very soon.